friend who was assaulted by my dad died. I'm 28, sad I can't go to her funeral. We were friends since elementary school. Our first day of second grade. We bonded instantly because we had the same Pokemon backpack. Classmates used to tease us and call us BFGF, but she was always like the sister I never had. She was my best friend and I really thought she was always gonna be in my life. But then we got older and it happened. My sick piece of shit dad got locked up and she was dealing with so much she didn't want to see me anymore. Couldn't imagine the pain she went through and it made me sick to think it was someone so close to me who did this to her. Her family and everyone else hated us after that because of what he did. We ended up having to move my senior year of HS because it got pretty bad and people weren't leaving our family alone. I never got to tell her I was sorry for what he did and for not knowing he hurt her. I spent years after that wondering if she hated me, if she got help to deal with the trauma and was having a better life now after everything. A couple years ago I found her Facebook and was tempted to message her, but I knew she probably didn't want to hear from me. Nobody should have to have any reminders in their life of what happened to them and I knew that's what I would be to her. Couldn't help it though, I kept tabs on her every now and then. Just wanted to make sure she was able to move on and was living a happy life. That she at least was able to find her own way to keep living because she deserved it. And seems like she did. Got married and graduated. But I learned last week she passed away and I'm crushed. I ended up leaving work early because I just wasn't feeling good. We haven't been in each other's lives in almost 11 years but I still feel that loss and it hurts so bad. I guess just knowing that I'll never get to see her again or have that chance to apologize. My heart feels too heavy. What hurts is that I know I won't be welcome at the funeral. I mean her family shouldn't have to deal with old wounds while they were trying to grieve, so I get it. But still, it hurts. Fuck, I'm so sorry dude, that's really awful. Therapy is the only thing I can recommend. You weren't assaulted but you have still been hurt, traumatized and suffering from your father's crimes. That grief and pain is so much to handle for anyone, let alone for the age you were when it happened. I'm so sorry. Maybe a donation in her memory to a charity for victims of assault would be good for you to honor her memory. A way to feel connected and say goodbye without being at her funeral. Write down what you'd like to say to her if could speak to her now, and also another letter for your father with what you'd say to the man who damaged so many lives. In my country it's customary to send a mass card sympathies card to the family of someone who had died. You may not feel comfortable or like it's appropriate, but maybe in a few weeks you could have hidden flowers delivered to her grave. You're not your father and it's terrible that your friendship, home life and your friend's childhood was destroyed by his crime. I'm sorry, I hope you can find peace and the support you need. Remember too that saying goodbye to someone doesn't need to mean funeral attendance, it can be a private moment where you honor a person's life and the loss. I hope she did get the help she needed after that, but I hope you do now too. I think a donation would be a great idea. Thank you for this. Don't know if it should be in her memory because I'm not sure if her family will somehow know or something. I don't want them to hear about me during this time. Maybe writing a letter will help somewhat too. Even if I'll never be able to say it to her face. Not a letter to my dad though, we never spoke again and he died 3 years ago in prison. Hope he's burning in hell. For her sake I really do hope she was able to get help and live a happy life after this. She deserved it more than anyone. Your pain and sadness are totally valid. Your compassion for her family's feelings is immense and wonderful. I am sorry for you, and her family, and everyone else your father's actions hurt. Please consider speaking about your feeling on this topic to a therapist, as you deserve to move on and find peace as well. Much love. Stay strong. I'm so sorry to hear. You definitely should donate to charity to honor her memory. Maybe you could bring flowers and Pokemon cards to her grave. Say the things you wish you could tell her at her grave, or write a letter and leave it at her tombstone. If her grave is in another city country, you'll have to wait before you can do that. In the meantime, look for grief counseling, groups or one-on-one, over Zooming a therapist to help you cope with trauma. I wish you, your mother and her loved ones the best. You were a victim of what he did too. None of it was your fault. I'm sure she realized that. You also put her feelings ahead of your own by giving her the space she obviously needed, and I know she appreciated that. I had something similar happen and dealt with it by moving away from everything and everyone I knew at the time, just to start fresh. Moving forward in a new direction made it easier to stop thinking about it. For me it was a coping mechanism to flip off that switch in my brain. Sounds like she did something similar. But I never blamed anyone who didn't directly cause harm. I'm sure she didn't blame you for what your father did, and always remembered you for the thoughtful person you clearly are. I am sorry for your loss. If you cannot go to the funeral, you can do your own private ceremony. You have so much emotional maturity, I can tell by the way you anticipated and respected her family's wishes, as well as her own during her lifetime. It takes a strong person to sacrifice their own closure for the peace of others. You were highly empathetic, and I'm sure you were a most wonderful friend to her in the time that you shared together. She knew that you cared. People have already said the best things, so I just want to add grief counseling might help you. You've been through a lot, and even if you haven't seen her in all those years, she was still someone dear to you. I'm so sorry for your loss. So many good comments here. You aren't at fault at all, you owe no one. Even now, you're doing the best for her and her family that you can. It's true though that life has a way of looping back around. I bet someday the things you've learned from all this will let you do exactly what someone else needs, when they need it the most. And it will honor her too. Wishing you peace and happiness. Write her a letter, then burn it. It'll find its way to her. This is the saddest thing. You have so much to grieve for, and so many old wounds are being torn open. You have done nothing wrong and deserve none of this guilt you're carrying. Take care of yourself. I'm sending you warm hugs from wherever I am to wherever you are. The loss of a friend when you never got the chance to tell them everything is unbearable. Something tells me she never resented you, and if she did, it wasn't for very long. Please try and ease your mind with the lovely memories instead of the regrets. Peace and love. Probably not, friend. While I believe that of many ways for closure, this one may be more tempting. However, it's not the one that is peaceful. You did nothing wrong, and in fact you did great by not messaging her. This shows your maturity and sincere feelings for her. However, as they say, too many moving parts. It's better that you contact a therapist. Ask him whether it's okay that you may contact them by phone, but most importantly, donate or distribute necessities to needy ones near you. You are a good person, and so was she. May her soul rest in peace.